the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add Angular into this app. To do that, I'm going to use something called Bower. So Bower installs different front-end files, CSS, JavaScripts, and so forth, locally onto your computer so you don't have to use a CDN. Honestly, the only reason I'm doing that in this video is because I don't feel like copying and pasting the links from Angular's different CDNs. So I'm just going to use Bower. To do this, I'm going to do Bower init. And then this is a very similar process to npm init. Yes, that looks fine. And just like npm init created package.json, Bower init creates this bower.json. To add a new dependency to Bower, I'm simply going to run bower install -- save, and then I'll start off with Angular. And that'll be my first one. And again, this process is very similar to Node modules. I can see that it's created this Bower components file right here that now has Angular inside it. So to check whether or not this works, well, I can tell you right now that it's not going to work because I haven't told Angular how to load static files from this Bower components yet. I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the public folder. I'm simply going to put Bower components in here this time. And so now, if I go to here, I should be able to link to, let's see, it's going to be /angular/angular.min.js. And then if I go into my app.js, just to make sure this works, I should be able to do console.log Angular, and I should see the little Angular object over here in my Chrome console. Let's see if that worked. And it did. So I'm not 100% sure this is Angular, but it didn't seem to throw an error, so I'm going to assume that it is. All right, so that can be my next step here, is loading in Angular. Actually, instead of making that a commit by itself, I'm going to go another couple of steps. The first thing is I'm going to add Bower components to my gitignore because, as with Node modules, I don't want to push all this stuff up to GitHub. Anyone, when they download this repository, can install all these Bower dependencies just by doing Bower install. So there's no need for me to push everything up. Instead, I'm going to start setting up this Angular app. I prefer to put use strict at the top and do everything inside an IIFE or an immediately invoked function expression. Don't have to, but it's considered sort of good Angular style. And I'm going to define my Angular module. So this is going to be my main Angular app. I'm going to call it tag anything. And I'm not going to put anything inside these this empty parenthesis for right now, but I may later on. And then just to make sure everything's working, if I go back into the body and do data ng app, and then the name of this module I just created, tag anything, it's not actually going to do anything, but it should not throw an error, and it doesn't, so I'm going to assume everything's working. So this is just getting Angular set up. I'm going to say that's good enough for another commit. So installed Angular, and I'll push that up.